We finally got to see some real NBA minutes from the #1 pick in the draft, Cooper Flagg. And I gotta say it, that was impressive. We don't know about what he did at Duke, the stats, the highlights, the way he carried that king. But seeing him step onto an NBA court and look this comfortable, this confident, is something else. The hype around this kid has been building for years, and somehow he's already living up to it. Now, before we get into his debut, let's just remember who this guy is. Cooper Flagg came into the league as one of the most hyped prospects in recent memory. At Duke, he averaged nearly 20 points, grabbed around 8 rebounds, and was one of the most complete players in college basketball. He's 6'9", athletic, versatile, and plays with this kind of basketball IQ that you usually see in veterans. NBA scouts called him a can't-miss prospect. And even though it's early, it's not hard to see why. His first game unfolded pretty well, and it was a reminder of why Cooper Flagg might be changing how this Dallas Mavericks team plays basketball. From the opening minute, you could tell he was a beast. He wasn't just out there trying to survive his first NBA game. He was dictating plays, reading defenses, and doing all the little things that made the team better. The first real moment that stood out came from something simple. It was an extra pass. He had an open way into the basket, but instead he fired a quick one more pass to a wide open teammate in the corner, to one of the best shooters in the league. An easy three. It wasn't a flashy play, but it was very smart. It showed unselfishness, awareness, and trust, and that's what the good teams are built on. Then you noticed how active he is defensively. Most rookies are nervous on that end, or at least they struggle in the beginning. They get lost in rotations or put too conservatively. They're just trying to not make mistakes. But Flagg, he started calling out coverages. At one point, when the Mavs were retreating on defense, he raised his arm and called out to Anthony Davis, letting him know to switch and pick up Case Wallace. It's a very small thing, but it shows that he has confidence and leadership qualities. And then on top of that, his defensive instincts are actually ridiculous. He could have easily gone for a big highlight block and knocked the ball to the stands, but instead he tapped it softly off the backboard so his team could grab the rebound and run the break. That's high IQ basketball. He's not chasing the big play, he's making the right one. When the Mavs pushed the ball in transition after that, you could already see how different their offense was with him. Last season, Dallas ranked near the bottom of the league in passes per game. The offense was stuck with isolation and one-on-one basketball. But now, the ball was zipping around. Players were moving, and Cooper Flagg was very much in the middle of it all. He was constantly keeping the ball moving, swinging it side to side, attacking when he saw it opening, and finding cutters and open shooters. One of his best plays actually came when he caught the ball on the wing, drove right into the lane, drew 2 defenders, and then shoveled a perfect pass to Derek Lively for an easy dunk. That is not something you expect from a teenager playing his first NBA game. That's the kind of playmaking you get from someone who already understands the rhythm of the match. Defensively, we've already known that he's going to become one of the league's most versatile defenders, because despite being 6'9", he can easily guard guards. So he can guard 1 through 5 and hold his own. He slides his feet, he keeps his arms active, and reads screens well. On one possession, he actually switched onto a smaller player, stayed in front, and forced a tough mid-range shot that barely grazed the rim. He's athletic enough to contest at the rim, strong enough to battle forward, and mobile enough to chase shooters off screen. That is a rare combination, and it's going to make him a huge weapon for Dallas on the defensive end. What also stood out is how much trust his teammates already have in him. AB, who hasn't been around the franchise forever, was turning down shots to swing at the Flagg in the corner. And of course, Flagg didn't hesitate. He drove baseline, he forced Davis' defender to help, and kicked that out to the open man. The play ended in a wide open 3, and even though he didn't get the assist for that on the stat sheet, that happened because of him. That's how you earn the respect from veterans. It's not from talking, not by showing off, but it's about making the right basketball play over and over again. Now, there were some moments where you could see his youth. On one play, he got the ball off a handoff at the top, but instead of attacking the middle and collapsing the defense, he drifted towards the sideline and ran out of time as the shot clock expired. Later, he picked up his dribble a little too early, got caught in the paint, and had to force a tough pass. These are very small mistakes that come with the lack of experience, but it's encouraging that even in those moments, you can see the logic behind his decision. He's thinking through the game. He's just a half a second slow, which should disappear as he adjusts to NBA speed. Offensively, the Mavs used him in a wide range of ways. There were times they ran sets to get him the ball on the wing. Other times, they tried to post him up against smaller defenders. He's actually great in the post because you can draw 3 defenders and still find the open man under the rim for a dunk. That's the kind of passing you get from a guy like Jokic. Big players who understand spacing and see the game a step ahead. Later in that same game, with a small guard on him, he backed down and hit a smooth turnaround jumper. Now, these shots don't always go in, but the form, confidence, and patience, they're all there. You could tell that it's a part of his game, and it's only going to get better. One of the most exciting things, I think, is how comfortable he looks pushing the ball up himself. A lot of rookies grab a rebound and immediately look for a guard to hand it off to. Not Cooper Flagg, though. He rebounds, he dribbles it up the floor, and starts the offense himself. That kind of skill gives the Mavericks so much more flexibility in transition. It means they can play faster, they can attack mismatches before the defenses are set, and it gives them another creator who sees the floor from a totally different angle. And the great thing is that when he is pushing the ball, he's not reckless. He's calm, he's under control, and he's scanning the court for open teammates. There's a lot of sequences that really sum up how unique he is, whether it's the NBA preseason or his time at Duke. There's so many instances where I've seen him grab a rebound, sprint up the floor, and instead of forcing a shot, deliver it perfectly pass. It's smooth, it's effortless, and it shows how mature his game already is. Players his age don't usually have that kind of control or timing. You see flashes of it sometimes, but with Flagg, it looks natural. And then there's the shooting. He didn't take a ton of threes in college, but the ones he did take were usually smooth and efficient. He's got a great clean form, and what stood out in this game, and all of his other games to be honest, is how comfortable he looks shooting off the hop. Both feet landing at the same time for rhythm. He knocked out a couple of threes in this way in preseason, and his mechanic looks solid. If he can keep building confidence in that shot, it's going to open up everything else in his game, because suddenly defenders can't fag awful, and his drives and playmaking become even more dangerous. What's really great about him, though, is how he balances power and finesse. Sure, he can finish above the rim and dunk when he's got a clear path, but he's also got a nice touch around the paint. He can go up and under, he can change angles midair, or bank it in softly off the glass. I've seen him on one drive stake a defender in the air, dip under him, and then finish with a clean layup. That's a move you see from players who have been in the league for years. Yeah, Cooper Flagg is doing that in year one. He's reading help defenders in real time and adjusting on the fly. That's great for Jason Kidd and the Mavs. They can run the offense through him almost like a point forward. He can handle the ball in a few possessions, bring it up, call sets, initiate pick and rolls. When he's doing that, he looks calm, confident, and decisive. There was even a few times where he ran a play with Anthony Davis setting a screen for him. Imagine that, a rookie using one of the best bigs in the league as a pick man. That's how much trust they already have in him. Not naturally, there's going to be some awkward moments, miscommunications and pick and rolls, a bad pass here and there, maybe picking up his dribble too early, but that's all normal. What matters is how quickly he's already processing the game. This is not a rookie who is overwhelmed, and you can tell he's already adjusting possession by possession. That composure on both ends is so beneficial. It makes him a nightmare situation for most bigs, because Flagg can stay in front of you, force the guard into a pull-up jumper, and then box out for the rebound as well. Plays like that won't always show up on the stats sheet, but they win games. And the great thing is that the Mavs already look very different because of their ball movement, their spacing, even their defensive communication has improved. You can see it in how engaged everyone is. They trust them. They cut harder when he has the ball. They rotate quicker when he's on defense. He's raising their collective IQ, and that's a wild thing to say about a 19-year-old. Now, of course, we're still early, but it's hard not to get excited. Rookies don't often come into the league looking this polished, this ready, this quickly. The last few players who came in and immediately played like this for LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and maybe you could argue Wembanyama. That fell level we're talking about here. You don't just see rookies with this kind of feel for the game. Flagg just understands where he needs to be, when to take advantage of mismatches, where to position himself for cuts, and the fact that he can make jumpers and he can attack the rim, and you have a 3-level score. The numbers at this stage won't even matter. The eye test says enough. The game slows down for him in a way that it doesn't for most rookies. He sees the floor like a point guard, but then he defends like a power forward. Watching him, you can't help but think, but the Mavs have found their future. They've got themselves another foundational piece, because this is a kid who's smart and composed, and he's already making a winning impact. Give him more time and more games under his belt, and this Dallas team is going to look completely different. Give him a year or two, and we're talking about him being an all-star, all-NBA. The potential is super real, and he's proving it on the court all the time. Rookies rarely come in this ready to go. Yes, obviously he's going to make mistakes. It's not always going to look perfect, but the foundation is there, and it's really solid. Flagg looks at the real deal, and after just seeing his first few games, I wouldn't be shocked if not only he wins Rookie of the Year, but he helps push the Mavs back into serious title contention. The future is very bright in Dallas, and it's wearing the number 5.